Here we go. Oh man. Oh man. We got a show today. We have a show today. Dude, today's sick. Today is sick. But let's before we talk about today, I think I know what's up with today. Today, for the second time this year here on this channel, someone in my audience is going to win a brand new Tesla Model 3. They don't want the car. We will gladly give them the value of the vehicle in crypto. Of course, we're going to do that giveaway at the very end. And there's also a handful of other giveaways from Twitter that I need to do today as well. Let's talk about this weekend. And let's talk about why No Sweat Bets has become not only my favorite segment to do, but probably the best money-making opportunity for the audience in crypto in terms of just the percentage of the time I'm correct. It's crazy. It is crazy, guys. You have to understand. I don't talk about stuff unless I have a serious indication. And I've been wrong before. I'm not saying I've never been wrong. Everyone's been wrong before. But I've been right way more, and I mean way more than I've been wrong. This weekend, I was at UFC 319 in Chicago. Absolute great time. I had lunch with Gilbert Burns, one of the only people to ever take Khamzat Chimaev to decision. And I picked his brain. I picked his brain about the fights. Who struggled with their weight cut? Who's looking good at the gym? What have you heard from their camp? Blah, blah, blah. We talk. We chat. Great dude. Great dude. And this weekend, I put four bets on Polymarket of the fights. Basically, the last four fights of the card. I bet Michael Venom Page, MVP. I bet Carlos Prates. I bet Lerone Murphy against Aaron Pico. And Aaron Pico, dude, what? No, he's a real deal. Came out of Bellator. He was so good at wrestling, he skipped college and went straight to international. But I still bet Lerone. Why did I bet Lerone? Well, I heard a rumor that someone had a tough weight cut and was super dehydrated and was super nervous for their UFC debut. And although Aaron Pico came out super aggressive, Lerone was undefeated. Anytime you can bet on an undefeated underdog, just listen to those two words, an undefeated underdog. I bet the underdog. And of course, I put a large amount of money on Khamzat Chimaev. So let's run this back. And I gave all these picks on No Sweat Bets. All four of them. All four of them. I bet MVP. He won it. I bet Carlos Prates. He won it. I bet Lerone Murphy. He won it. And I bet Khamzat Chimaev. He won it. That's 4-4-4. Who does that? Who does that? Your boy. Your boy. No Sweat Bets. Let's go. Let's go. And it's only going to get more interesting as football season gets closer. Like preseason, I bet a couple preseason games, like because I'm a degenerate. But like I'm not betting money on preseason. But once I might throw a couple picks week 1, week 2. But I need to watch the games in real time and get a feel for who is where. And by the time week 4, week 5 comes around for football, I'm going to have a pretty good idea on who's going to be doing what. Of course, there's always upsets. Of course, I'll make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I'm right way more than I'm wrong. And this weekend goes to show for that. I also said to bet on Khamzat Chimaev that he would not win by submission. That was like a pretty good bet because it was like a 60-40 bet because 38% of people bet was that he would win by submission. And I said, no, he's not going to win by submission. He's either going to knock him out or it's going to go to decision. I personally wanted to see a knockout personally. That was kind of more of a bias, but obviously it did go to decision and every round was like an 8-10. Shout out to Khamzat Chimaev, man. What an absolute G. Of course, thank you to VeChain. Big shout out to Connor at VeChain, to Rome at VeChain, all the great people that I met from Fighters Foundry, everything like that. I hung out with a couple. I got to tell this story. I wonder if I can find the photo. Is it in my photos here? This is so funny. It might not. Oh, it is. It is. Okay, one second. So I went out to lunch with Gilbert Burns, and like a couple other dudes like kind of in the fight industry that are that have been doing it forever kind of thing. And this one guy, Marcelo Wu is his name. He's a photographer for the UFC. And we were hanging out, we had lunch or whatever, we shoot the shit. And then I see him like at the cage, like taking pictures. You know what I mean? And I took a picture and I was like, I know that dude. And I see him look at his phone. He starts looking around, looking at me in the crowd. He's like, where is this guy? And the funny thing is that I'm like this, and I see him, he goes to take a picture of me. So I go like this. The next morning, he sends me this. Where is this? He sends me this photo. Bro, look at this photo. Look at that. The edit is insane. That is probably my favorite picture of AJ ever. And it's just like just the normal people of the crowd. Obviously, which person in that crowd bet 4 for 4 and won 50 racks that night? Oh, I wonder which one it was. But yeah, shout out to Marcelo, man. His name's Marcelo Wu. Go follow him on Instagram. He posts some insane pictures at the UFC. But yeah, definitely big shout out to VeChain, man. Loved everything that they're doing. I just did an interview with Paisan talking about the BYB app. Basically, you can earn free crypto by working out, by doing jumping jacks, lunges, burpees, I think push-ups, and they're going to add more workouts as they go. I think there was a few dev problems like early on, like people would do the workout and they wouldn't get the points and stuff, but they are working out all the kinks with BYB. I think it's probably the perfect match for, VBetterDAO has a lot of really good ways to earn free crypto. By drinking coffee, charging an electric vehicle, cleaning up a park, going on a walk. There's and then every week there's more things coming out on VBetterDAO. But I think because they sponsored the UFC and Power Slap and WWE, I think BYB is the perfect DApp for the demographic VBetterDAO is aiming at, is marketing. We're marketing towards UFC people. So if the UFC fans learn, I could work out and earn free crypto, even if they're not crypto holders, I think that's like probably the perfect demographic for that application. And I'm really excited to see the future of that. And obviously amazing things going on at VeChain. And I have also just learned over the weekend. So the next Tesla Model 3 giveaway, I believe, is going to start sometime in September, October-ish. And obviously the Cybertruck giveaway is in December. And how that's going to work for the next giveaway, we're actually partnering up with 4Ocean that does all the ocean cleanups and everything to help promote the giveaway, which is going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, I did my Dana White interview at a 4Ocean cleanup, and if you haven't seen my interview with Uncle Dana himself, scroll down my videos. I do have an interview with Dana White. I actually interviewed Joe Exotic and Dana White in the same 3-day window. It was actually pretty cool. So yeah, man, a lot of good stuff going on. Super grateful for my position in crypto, for all like the loyal following that I have. I don't have 1 million followers, but I also built my entire channel. My entire brand was built in a bear market. I actually talked to Aaron from Altcoin Daily about that. Aaron and Austin, they were like, AJ, of course you're going to get your chunk of followers when crypto actually pumps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were a smaller channel and we went through 2 full bull markets and everyone comes back to crypto. Like, if you look at the Google trends for crypto words during bull markets and obviously not during bull markets, the numbers are insane. How many people follow crypto once it wakes up? And I kind of anticipate that's where I'll probably get like my big run to, getting to 50K, getting to 100K on YouTube. But what I'm building to here is that I obviously put my head down and worked super hard. I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I work really hard as a creator and people see that. And I built, I'm working on 30K on YouTube in a bear market without like a proper bull run to get the masses into the channel. So for the timing and everything, I couldn't be more grateful. I want to thank the Grogger community, Get Rich or Get Wrecked, everyone in my Telegram group, everybody. You guys are awesome. I'm just super grateful that I get to do this for a living, and it's insane. It's insane. I do have a handful of stories I want to go into. JP asks here, Will rate cuts happen in September? Actually, this is something that we actually talked about last week. There was actually a story that I read saying that that there was a 98% chance of a rate cut in December. Excuse me, in September. And according to Polymarket right now, I actually want to see what the odds say. So Fed decision in September, a 3% chance of 50 bip, 71% chance of 25 bips, and no change 27%. And 25 bips actually has gone down. That was at like 76 or 74% when I looked at it during No Sweat Bets, and it is down. And no change is actually up just a little bit. So that is interesting that the odds have shifted a little bit down for a change and a little bit up for a no change. They did say at the beginning of the year that they were anticipating 2 rate cuts for this year. I would like to see 3, but if we get 2, think of when we get the 2 and the timeline with that being a year and a half after the Bitcoin halving. And that's kind of the caveat to the Bitcoin, the year and a half after the Bitcoin halving theory, is that yes, a year and a half after every Bitcoin halving, we've seen the face melting alt run. Oh my God, billionaires, Lamborghinis, and all that stuff. But the thing with that is that we were always in a phase of quantitative easing when that timeline happened. We were never hiking interest rates in that timeline. So there's a couple takeaways from this. One, Bitcoin and Ethereum are ripping. Altcoins aren't doing the best, but crypto as an industry is ripping regardless of interest rates. Bitcoin's doing what it's doing. Ethereum's doing what it's doing with no slashes at all. That's a big sign of strength for the adoption of crypto, especially in Wall Street with the ETFs and the inflows. And I have a handful of stories about Ethereum today as well. Ethereum is not something I'm personally holding for my spot bag because I think the market cap's too high. I think there is a ceiling to how many X's you can get with a coin that's over 100 million, 200 million market cap. And that includes XRP and everything else. But it's still something I'm willing to day trade. And I still think that, obviously the ceiling for Ethereum and the ceiling for Bitcoin is going to be a big indication on what's going to happen with the altcoins, because obviously once we kind of see that the money, so generally how the smaller cap coins, let's say from, the top 30 by market cap down, generally what happens is that people take their profits from Bitcoin, they take their profits from Ethereum, XRP, et cetera, and buy smaller caps because they already made their money and it kind of runs down the hill. And that's why we see that blow off top. So what I'm saying is that, okay, well, we saw a $4 trillion crypto total market cap at the top in 2021 with the Grim Reaper of regulation standing behind us holding a scythe. Now that Grim Reaper is gone, Gary Gensler is gone. We have a pro-crypto president. We have a pro-crypto SEC. We're making bipartisan decisions, passing crypto bills in Congress with the Genius Act and everything else. And I think the entire water level is going to rise substantially for crypto. So if 4 trillion was the top of the last run, I think we could, go to 8 to 10, maybe 12 trillion. And in a retest, that 4 trillion will be support resistance. And I think that once we see a real run, we'll probably never go under 4 trillion again after the next bull run. I think the entire water level is going to rise. Another thing I've said before, but I'll say today just because I'm on it. The ETFs. I mean, there's a bunch of stories today about the Ethereum ETF, record-breaking inflows, blah, 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 blah. And, so Bitcoin was kind of a test run. Okay, is the ETF thing going to work for crypto? Okay, that worked. Wall Street made a lot of money on the Bitcoin ETF. Okay, let's do Ethereum. It's obviously working. So they're saying, okay, well, we did an ETF. That was very successful. We did an ETF with Ethereum. This was very successful. Let's give ETFs to everybody. And that's what's going to happen. I showed a chart, I think 2 weeks ago on the live stream, basically saying, okay, here are all the coins that are in line, like Hedera, Litecoin. I think Pengu is on the list. I think Aptos, there's a bunch of them that all are viewed by commodities by the SEC. They have a 90 Cardano. They have a 90% or like 85 to 90% approval rating. And all the deadlines are October, November, December this year. reading between the lines on that is that once the bulk of altcoins viewed as commodities do get their ETFs, that's when things can start getting interesting with baskets. If you don't know that in the normal stock market, 70 or more % of the transactions, roughly estimate 70% of the transactions in a normal stock market are baskets, are, you know, the S&P 500, which is the top 500 slammed together in an index. Like those indexes is 70% of the transactions. So once crypto has enough ETFs of altcoins to make baskets, those baskets are going to be extremely sexy to, you know, the everyday investor. I mean, I've literally had a conversation with an older gentleman in my family who has been, you know, kind of making fun of me about my crypto endeavors, at least until the last couple of years. Made fun of me, and he was saying, you know what, AJ, I think you've proved me wrong, because last week, this conversation, he said, for the first time in the history of my 20-year relationship with my stockbroker, he suggested for me to buy crypto. And coming from that guy who I'm talking about, that family member, that's a big deal. So guys, the entire sea level, the entire water level is going to substantially rise up for crypto. No questions asked. I have no qualms for the rest of this year. I think that even if there was I've been making the argument that could we go into 26? Does it have to be run up at the end of this year and come down forever? It doesn't have to be, especially because we've been pausing with the interest rates for so long. And if we finally start slashing, we get substantial slashes, you know, they turn the money printer back on, the M2 chart goes up, the M2 chart goes up, all risk assets go up, S&P and indirectly crypto. I have always believed that the stock market is tied to crypto. Some people used to say they were decoupled. Now they've been getting closer and closer and closer to being coupled because of the institutional involvement. Before, when Wall Street was on the sidelines, yeah, you could have made that argument. But now crypto and the stock market the correlation is getting closer to one. And they're both risk assets. And so because of that, once we see the rise in the M2 chart, I mean, we did what we did without interest slashes. So what's going to happen when we get them? And the timeline, you get my point, man. We're going to have a crazy year. Big shout out. Got over about 120 people on YouTube. Make sure you smash the like button early, and really appreciate it. More than that on Twitter. Thanks for being there. If you're watching this on Twitter, come over to YouTube. I like the YouTube squad more. You guys are better. Institutions buying Link or what? It's my second largest position now. Well, I think I saw a couple stories about Link, but I didn't click on them. And I can take a look at the Link chart later in the show when I do charts. I'm cool with doing Link. I literally answered the graph question in the last live stream. Basically, my answer is that it has upside. I'm keeping what I have, but I'm not buying more. Anyone a fan of quant? That's kind of the same thing as the graph, is that they suck at marketing. They're terrible at marketing. But it's a viable project. I have what I have, but I'm not buying more. That's my answer for quant, and that's my answer for the graph. But I obviously have been to looking at shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm taking a second to read here. And of course, guys, go if you haven't signed up for Polymarket yet, click the link down below. Get yourself signed up. I do a weekly Polymarket overview called No Sweat Bets, which is where I go over everything that I'm talking, every money-making opportunity. I obviously don't go into every single thing on Polymarket. That would take hours and hours and hours, because you can literally bet on anything on Polymarket. So I kind of try to pick 7 or 8 things and talk about those. And sometimes I go back and talk about the same thing again, but I also account for sometimes people might be watching the show for the first time. So I'm okay. Like with the F1, for instance, I think Oscar Piastri is going to win the F1 championship. I think Minecraft is going to be the best opening weekend movie of the year. And that's actually one that I think even now on the live stream, that's worth talking about just really quickly. Which movie has the biggest opening weekend of 2025? The fact that Minecraft is still at 69%, that's actually insane. I mean, so if you bet $1,000, you would get 13. You'd make $375, almost $400. Guys, Minecraft. All right, back when before Superman or Fantastic Four came out, Minecraft was sitting at basically the same number. But now, Avatar is not. Avatar has never come close in the first two movies. Never came close to doing what Minecraft already did this year. It's not going to happen. Zootopia didn't even do 70 on its first run. And Wicked is garbage. Let's just be honest about that. This is a lock. Obviously, you have to wait to the end of the year. But really, you only have to wait because Zootopia, the only reason Zootopia has an argument is because it comes out on Thanksgiving. And obviously, people go to the movies on Thanksgiving with their kids. But do I think that's going to outpace Minecraft? Absolutely not. We're talking 135 for Minecraft. Minecraft got this locked up. Even if even if you bet $100 on it, you'd still make $38. Like this is a free bet. It's an absolute free bet. Another one that I gave you guys is Polymarket going to go live in the US. And at the time it was at like 65%. And I'm like one of their lead ambassadors. And I was like, hey, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And now that that went to 90%. So you're welcome on that one. You can't say I never gave you anything for sure. The US can't bet on Polymarket. I know, but it's coming. It's coming this year. And or just use a VPN, because we've used VPNs to trade crypto since the beginning of trading crypto, and this is a crypto application, so I don't know why the jump is such a big deal for anyone. Just speaking plainly, most people won't say that. I will. I don't care. And you know why? Because I live on an island in Washington State, and what I actually do is I have a rowboat. Right, I live on the water. I walk down to my beach. I get in my rowboat. I paddle my rowboat out, sometimes with my hands. And I go into international waters. And once I'm in international waters and my phone says, welcome to Canada, that's when I put my bets on. And then I sometimes swim back. Sometimes I'll scuba back, or I'll just row the boat back to my shore. And you can't argue with that because I'm in international waters. I mean, you can't prove that I can. And like JP said in the chat, AJ is a mermaid, actually. Merman. Shout out to Zoolander. One of my favorite movies. All right, so let's keep the ball a-rolling here. Where are a couple charts I want to talk about really quick. One of those guys is Aptos. Aptos is one that I don't want you guys to sleep on. Rounded bottoms pay the bills. Rounded bottoms pay the bills, okay? And this is a situation of a coin that, it's not like a Hedera type pump. It's not like, what was this run from the bottom of August to the top in December? What was that? 212%. That's not bad. Nice little run up. Nothing crazy. But I think there's money to be made here. And look at in the past two pumps, kind of look at the curvature. You see the curvature here? Very, very obvious curvature for Aptos. And now, obviously, this is not a straight downtrend where you can just draw the line and define a breakout. This is a curved downtrend, which is a real thing. And if you kind of look at it like this, I'm not going to draw it perfect because my hand's too close to my keyboard. Here, let me actually try again, because that first one was really bad. Let me move my mouse all the way over here. And if you kind of look at, kind of looks like an isotope, right? Kind of getting closer and closer to zero. And in my mind, that is starting the rounded bottom, because this right here was a lower low, but this was the first higher low. So you could actually even kind of define it like this and alarm that uptrend line, that uptrend level right there. Or this previous high level, which is obviously pretty big support resistance back here at 629. That would be a really optimal place to get any Aptos you buy. You want to buy under 629, because that would be like the breakout level. And then as you can see, pretty serious support resistance right here at 769. And that right there, that trade's kind of a give me. And that's a 23% move up the hill in between here. And also look at the gap in the volume profile, how it kind of scoops out and then wakes up over here. See that little scoop right there? So that's a free 23%. In my opinion. Obviously, we're only looking at a daily chart right now. I do want to look at Market Cipher here really quickly. Yeah, it's kind of coming down on the momentum wave at the moment. It's not the end of the world, though. I think a lot of things are coming down on momentum waves on the daily charts right now. August has been, we've had like this nice little run up, put in lower high coming down. But, we have also put in a lot of uptrend. So I think we'll probably respect the uptrend and continue. That's kind of what I'm thinking for anything that's coming down at the moment. But if you wanted to get a little bit more nifty, because you're telling me, okay, AJ, you gave me a breakout level for Aptos at 629, but the price is 460. Thanks for all the help. What I would say to that is, okay, well, let's kind of zoom in on this a little bit. Obviously, this level, this previous high could be somewhere to consider, about 559. And then even to add to that, this little high right here, I would actually kind of go off of that one, or even at basically $5 or at 513. Both of those levels are pretty important because this one even goes back here all the way to the left of the screen with my brush right there. That's a pretty big level right around 499. So those are some levels that you could certainly look at, but it is kind of also hard to ignore on the short-term time frame. It is only on the 12-minute chart, but Head and Shoulders matter on the 12-minute chart just like they matter on the 2-hour chart. Just the bigger the time frame, the more it matters. And if this was to break down, let me pull this down, that would spit us out around $4. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I would actually pull this down. I would really keep a close eye on this level right there at 448. So right now, I don't really care what happens with Aptos in between this range. It's already it's been ranging here since August 7th. So the past 10 days, Aptos has been stuck in a 13.7% range. So this is the power of range trading. We don't care what happens in the middle. What happens in the middle is completely irrelevant. It can, and the longer it spends inside this little box, good. Because once it breaks that 13% range, then we'll be on to something. So I would set up this conditional range for sure at 513. Oh, 513. And then what was this level again? 449. That's what I would be looking at for Aptos at the moment. Those are the only two alarms that matter if you're trying to scalp trade. But zoomed out daily time frame stuff, this 629 level, that's the level for when we kind of can start separating. When we discuss concepts like value area low and value area high, we're certainly in a massive accumulation range for Aptos, and this is one you should definitely have on your radar. Another one you should have on your radar, and that I've told my Telegram group and I've told my Twitter subscribers, one that I've been buying heavily is Arbitrum. Give me more Arbitrum. That's what I want, more Arbitrum. Arbitrum is one that I don't really care that it underperformed in the December run. That doesn't really mean much to me. And when you also consider this downtrend, it looks to me like it already broke out. And what do we always say? Rounded bottoms pay the bills. Look at the bull cross here on the daily. Incoming bull cross on the daily. And even if there is a bear dip, even if it comes down, there is a bear dip. Look at Market Cipher. All right, so we kind of have boom, boom going this direction here. Okay, we can define that as a downward momentum as the price action is going up. Okay, so we can say, okay, there is a bear div on the daily chart, but I want you to zoom out past this week and next week and the week after that. This is something I'm looking at for, even just like this amount of from the bottom here in April to our local top. Yeah, that was 135% in 130 days. That's pretty ridiculous. All right. And what's really important, in my opinion, for Arbitrum is to break this level right here. And this level right here is at 60, let's just call it 68 cents, because this was, floor, ceiling, support, resistance level. That is kind of, the accumulation zone where we can kind of say, okay, and this is where we were at the top of the last run. And even if it went from where it is now to the December high, that would still be 153%. And I'm cool with 153%. I think it's going to go much further than $1.27, much further than $1.27. But, and also just like Aptos, daily bull cross incoming. So even if we, say we come down this week, I'm not like totally losing sleep. Not at all, right? Because I need to get rid of this damn brush. So we have our low. We have our low right here. Can you guys see that, or am I too far? Yeah, perfect. So there's our low. So what I would do, I would say that would be our local uptrend. And as long as we respect this, if we go down past this, that would be bad. As long as I don't think we're going all the way down to 25 cents. But I would say even if it comes down and bounces off of this uptrend, that's really what I'm paying attention to. So certainly alarm that uptrend. You could find like a breakdown confirmation level here. Even if you go off this level for support resistance, how many times that has been flipped, rejected, then it was the floor right there. More recently, it's been the floor. That would be a pretty important scalp level, in my opinion, for Arbitrum. That's at, let's just call it 47 cents. It's actually 47.1, boom, 471. That would be an alarm that I would certainly set along with that local uptrend. And of course, alarm local high here at 586, 0.586, bang, bang, bang. And how long has Arbitrum been in this range right there to here? So it has been inside of this 23% range for the past 5 days. So, I don't really care how many times Arbitrum bounces back and forth between 58 and 47. Basically 47, we can make an argument for a short, and 58.6, we make an argument for a long. That is the conditional range level I'm watching for Arbitrum. Do not guess, react to the markets. Big shout out to everybody watching. Got over 130 on YouTube, more than that on Twitter. Thanks for being here. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the Telegram group. I gave a setup in the Telegram group literally at the airport right before I got on the plane, before I flew to Chicago for UFC 319. And I said, here's the level. Here's the scalp short level. Go short if that alarm goes off. And 2 days later, it was a 23% short. You're welcome. And I've actually learned with my Telegram group that it's been a big learning lesson. Big learning lesson with being a trader that has a paid group. One, why is it not free? Because if it was free, you wouldn't give a shit. You wouldn't care at all. Because if you invest in something, you pay for something, you care to look at it. You want to get value out of it. That's the point. That's thing number one. Thing number two is that when I first started the group, I was like super gung-ho. I'd post like 5 setups a day. And literally I got to a point where I was just posting just to say I posted. And here's the thing is that you guys have to understand. I built in a bear market. I wrote all the videos I wrote for the person at the time. It was the largest crypto content creator in the world. And during those years of basically what I call my study time, I went into everyone's paid group, everyone's group. I mean, I'm not going to name them all, but if you know a crypto trader that has a Discord or a Telegram, yes, them too. I've been in their group. I've been in everyone's group. And I thought some people were absolute trash, and I can't believe people paid money for that. And I felt some people provided value, but it could be a little better, or they overcomplicated things on purpose. I don't like when traders do that, when they're like, oh, like I have the secret here in my hand, but I'm not going to tell you the secret unless you come back tomorrow. And you come back tomorrow, and oh, I still got the secret. And they like gatekeep shit, and they act like they're God, and they, you'll never know, like you'll never figure this out, when they're just like kind of talking out of their ass. There are people that do that. But I also learned a couple things from a couple people, Crypto Lifer being one of them, obviously Crypto Face, and a handful of other traders that actually I felt did it the right way. I created my Telegram group because I created the group that I wish I found when I started trading. And like I said, I would post too much when I would confuse people by how many charts I posted when I started. And then I kind of got to a point where I was like, you know what? People are complaining because there's too much to follow. There's too many alarms to set. How about instead of posting every chart that I look at, why don't I just post a handful of charts that are like pretty solid, that are very likely to work out in my favor, that are simple to chart, so it's easy for people to follow. I understand a lot of people have jobs. A lot of people work 9 to 5 or more than that, and they don't have time to trade the way I trade. And I wanted to create a group where, okay, set these handful of alarms, and this is what you do. This is how you react to them when those alarms go off. And of course, always set a stop loss, and never, ever, ever trade with your entire bag at once. And that has worked for me. And now I've actually gotten to a point where I post 3 days a week, sometimes 4, sometimes 2. But when I post, yeah, we're cooking. And I would rather, pay more attention and really pay attention to the volume of the coin I'm trading, and the range and the likelihood of the break. So once it breaks, it's very like easy trade to get in and out of. And that's really what I've been working on, is giving quality over quantity. And that has been what I've been focusing on, and what have we been doing in the group lately. I know the SKL setup I gave the other day was just absolutely insane, and the ENA setup is still cooking as well, but I think that one's going to work out pretty soon. I have another chart I'm paying attention to. I do have a chart for you guys for the Telegram group later, but I still am waiting for an alarm to go off. The giveaway is happening at the very end of the show. Tanya and Matt Schroeder said we need more likes. Well, I don't even know how many likes we have. Let me click YouTube on my laptop here. 78 likes. Okay, that's not bad, but I think we should get to 100. I would really like to see get to 100. Hey, shout out to Kenneth G in the chat. Thanks for being here, buddy. I do appreciate you. All right, so let's I got a couple news stories here. Here we go right there. All right, so Solana, let me zoom in on this story so you guys can see a little bit better. Solana hits 100K transactions per second under stress load, boosting Solana appeal. The data showed that Solana could theoretically sustain 80,000 to 100,000 TPS, which is transactions per second, in real operations like transfers or Oracle updates under peak conditions. So Solana mainnet briefly achieved over 100,000 TPS with a peak TPS of 107,000 and change. High TPS was driven by NOOP program calls, which are lightweight instructions used to test the network capacity. Actual facing throughput remains lower, with effective throughput for payment and applications around 1,000 TPS. So this is actually a really big deal for Solana to be able to handle, a stress test like this. This is a blockchain that would it is, theoretically, not theoretically, that is notorious for pausing. And it has always struggled and has had to stop. And it's good to see them learning and to be able to handle the stress. And that is a big appeal to Solana. And I think that if there was ever an argument for, why would someone not like Solana? It's because they're worried about the stress and it pausing. And that's a big turnoff for crypto people. And that's actually a big reason I like Algorand so much. My favorite number that has to do with Algorand is 0 downtime. Almost instant finality. If you haven't seen my new interview with Mark Vandenberger, the CSMO of Algorand that we did at Rare Evo, check out that interview. It is amazing. He goes over the new roadmap. We did all these audience questions. It was really, really cool. Definitely check that out. But Solana, it does, in terms of institutional interest, I remember I almost gave up on Solana. And then I remember it was at $8. And then I said, when it was at like $10 or $12, I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a couple bucks of Solana just to do it. It's so cheap. Ben told me to not buy it. It was dead or whatever. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm $500, whatever. And then it went to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. It just kept going. And Solana came back. Solana came back. And I did like to see that. And now like kind of seeing, okay, Solana has gone from a coin that keeps shutting off to a coin that can handle stress. I think that adds a lot to its institutional interest. And I think that Solana is definitely one that is likely to get an ETF once altcoin ETFs become, an everyday thing. I think this is an older chart that, oh, I see what we did there. That was a nice little breakout right there. Yeah, we nailed that one. It's funny when I click on a chart that I haven't looked at in a while, there's all these like random alarms in different colors and like shapes and patterns. And generally it's a trade that has worked out. And then I just never go back to it. All right. So what's up with Solana right now? So Solana has come up the hill. All right. And at the end of last year, Solana, I mean, we're talking, it was in purgatory, man. Solana was an absolute purgatory. If we kind of look at the value area low right here. So Solana was from basically $8 to $47, basically stuck inside of no man's land for 550 days, basically. And then once it got above this major support resistance level right here, right there, that was kind of, hey, go time for sure. I remember talking about that alarm when it went off. Did I think it was going to run that far? I did not. But did I trade that alarm? Yes, I do. I remember it. But we're talking 339%, 133 days to the tippy top. We're talking 570% in over a year's time from that alarm. That's pretty ridiculous. But, since then, Solana has kind of developed a really big support resistance level here at 125, basically. And what has happened since then is that it did put in a lower low. And this lower low, you never want to see a lower low, as in like we have the lows and then it breaks down. But then it came back in and respected that level again. So that kind of revalidates that support resistance level. And what I'm looking at now, especially on a daily chart like this, is this uptrend. And although, just like on Aptos, we do have a bearish divergence formed and set on the Solana daily chart. Right here, we put in a slightly higher high, and right here, we put in a significantly lower high on the momentum oscillator on Market Cipher B. So, and we already got the bull cross. Solana already has the bull cross right there and is cruising along. So let's kind of hope that these bear divs don't turn into trend line breaks, and maybe it will just test the 50 on the daily or even test the 200 on the daily and continue. How I would interpret Solana from a technical analysis standpoint moving forward is this support resistance level right here, which has been a major support resistance level throughout the previous few years here. When you consider Solana's range, like right here, see how many times it kind of spent in this box, about a 27.5% range here. And for 200 days, if it came down, it would bounce out. If it came, and then if it get that alarm, it would bounce. But if it hit the bottom, it would come out, and it would just kind of, although it would come out of that range, this is a level that was rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bounce 6, rejected 7, 8, 9, and now bounced 10 times in the past few years here. And that's a very important level for Solana. And the thing is that if this comes out and we lose this trend line and then we lose this level, that would be breakdown confirmation at that point if it makes it that far to the right before the alarm goes off. And guys, this alarm level for Solana is 159.11. 159.11. That level is the most important support resistance level on Solana if things go bad. If things go bad, that's a big short level. What I don't like is that the point of control is actually below that level. So the big range of Solana is 125 to 159. We kind of talked about how much time it spent inside this box. The next thing is the previous high. And the previous high was kind of a giveaway. Why? Because it was also the same previous high back here. The previous high we got just last week was the same high we got right here back in March of 2024. And that level is exactly 210. So sure, obviously, you know, I'm not saying to never trade Solana in between basically 160 and 210. That is a 31% range. There is money to be made in the middle here, but these are the broad stroke alarms that are best for like swing trading, large move type stuff. Maybe I can get into more scalp levels with Solana in the Telegram group or something, but it's kind of sitting on one right now. If you can kind of consider this previous high right there, it is kind of sitting on that level. Let's kind of investigate here for a second. So what I would say, if you wanted to scalp short Solana, I would go from this right here. If you want to scalp short Solana, I would say set an alarm at 179.13. This is a scalp short level, 179.13. Okay. And then also be aware of the sharp local downtrend. And if you also wanted to scalp long, this alarm right here is really big. How many times it has been rejected? We have 1 rejection, 2 rejections, 3 rejections from that level. So right now what I'm doing is it's called tightening the range. We've established that this 210 alarm, okay, and this 159 alarm down this alarm right here, we've established that these 2 alarms are the bigger range for Solana. But now we're talking locally. We're talking scalping. Those are the broad strokes. These are the zoomed in levels. I'll change these to blue. Okay. And these levels are what I would be looking at if I wanted to try to scalp trade. And this top one would be 196. 196. All right. So if we lose 179, we can make an argument to go short, and we have our target down here. Around here. So we would go short from here. We have about 10% target at 159, but you could also, you know, get some other targets from like these levels back here and stuff like that. 196, however, makes a lot of sense, because if 196 went off, we would already break out of this local downtrend, and that would be breakout confirmation. And then we could long for 196, target 210 would be about a 6.4% trade. So we have our larger range. Let me get rid of this really quick. Boom, boom, boom. So we have our larger range right here between 210 and about 159. This range right here, larger range. But then this is a very large range, and yes, the break of this range is very important, but this is a large gap in price action. So what we do, this right here is called tightening the range. So this is a range that we can kind of decide. We have a local downtrend, and then hell, you could even actually look at it like this. You could even say locally, this is our local uptrend right there. And I will make this yellow. So we have a little pennant. Oh, I wanted to make that yellow. Yellow. Okay. So we have our local pennant. But the thing is that if it breaks either way, we need confirmation. And that confirmation to tighten the range is 196 to go long and 179.13 to go short. And also be sure to alarm the pennant levels as well, because you want to be aware of the trend line breaks themselves as well as the confirmation. The way I see it is that you can trade. Yes, you can trade from a trend line alarm, but it's safer to trade from a confirmation alarm, because a lot of things, sometimes it can kiss it and go right back up. But that's also why we set tight stop losses. And if you set, a 2-3% stop loss, you can lose 8 or 9 trades in a row, win the 10th trade, and be a profitable trader. I don't care about your win-loss record in terms of I won 10 trades and lost 10 trades. I care about how much money you make. So you can lose 80 trades and win 10 trades and still be a profitable trader. That's the type of discipline I teach over at my Telegram group. And of course, if you want to join the Telegram group, send an email to ajalphagroup@gmail.com. If you have sent an email and we haven't gotten back to you, we will. There's just a lot. It takes time. This isn't Amazon. This is a skeleton crew that keeps getting smaller. So, I really appreciate that about Ajwritescrypto. Do you know 0 people have any equity in my business? I'm the sole owner of Ajwritescrypto. Do you know how good it feels to say that? That I don't have to that no one can fire me. No one can steal my channel. No one can do anything. No way. And I know I've had people offer me big money for a slice of the pie. You know what I said? Make a left, make a right. Go fuck yourself. That's what I told him. Keep it real though. Keep it real though. Arya has a lot of equity. That's fair. But she also has an inheritance. Okay. And man, hopefully she doesn't hire a hitman on my ass in a couple of years. That's funny. Shout out to the booba. Shout out to, I hear her crying from here in the other room. Maybe it's nap time. She gets fussy around nap time. Gets a little fussy, that one. All right. So I had a couple of stories on Ethereum. Where are they? Let's look at Bitcoin dominance really quick. Yeah, kind of what. Is there a bull div on Bitcoin dominance? I bet you there's a bull div on Bitcoin dominance. Yup. Wow, dude. Okay. There it is. Anchor wave, trigger wave. So we are going, momentum is pushing this way. Okay. And while it's been pushing up, the price has been going down. So the momentum is diverging from the price action, which indicates reversal. So that's actually not good for the alts. That's not good for the alts. I think I'm not saying the alt run's over or anything, but I am saying that based off the handful of charts we went over today, they're Aptos, Arbitrum, Solana, there are bear divs on the daily, and to have a bull div on dominance isn't really what you want to see. What you want to see with dominance, just to very quickly, you want to see this type of drop. This right here is what happened in the 2021 bull run. That's what we need to replicate to have the bull run Lambo run of our dreams. And the thing is we hit a high at 66%, and every time we have a dip, we like this one right here, we correct it and continue. And if we keep correcting and continuing, like we're probably about to do right here, that is going to delay the altcoin bull run. And this alarm at 58.7%, that's a very, very big deal for Bitcoin dominance. This alarm has to go off. Another alarm I want to see historically is this one here, which also aligns with a few touches on the chart right here and right here. This alarm is at 57.1. And of course, I already have that written down right there, 57.1. And then 54.3 obviously would be a really big, the one I just extended there. So really, we would like to see it lose 58.7. We do not want to see this thing bounce up. And if it does, we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, not the best for alts this week, at least this week. That can change quick, but this week, I don't know. The dominance isn't good. Ethereum ETFs pool $24 million in a day as inflows outpace Bitcoin info. Bitmine accumulates 6.6 billion in ETH, rivaling Bitcoin treasury companies. Guys, they are racking Ethereum. Institutions are buying droves of Ethereum at the price it's at today. Like, you know, they didn't buy this at 2K or 3K. Bitmine aims to buy 5% of the ETH supply and capitalize on the potential of the Ethereum network for large-scale finance. That's big. That's. And here's kind of the trajectory of their accumulation so far. Damn. They hold over 1.52 million Ethereum. That's ridiculous. Ethereum fates in jeopardy as largest ever Ethereum shorts emerge. So we have the bullish aspect of institutional buying, but we also have right here, speculators have built the largest leverage short position in Ethereum history, raising concerns about the cryptocurrency's near-term outlook. According to the latest CME CFTC data shared on August 18th, which is today, net leverage short positions on Ether have surged to a record 18,000 and change contracts. The data highlighted in a sharp rise and bearish bets through 24 into 25 as institutional traders appear to be positioning against Ethereum more aggressively than ever before. Notably, the surge in shorts points to growing skepticism about ETH's ability to sustain its valuation, While such extreme positioning often signals deep bearish sentiment, it can also set the stage for bearish short squeeze, blah, 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 blah. I'm all good for the short squeeze. That'd be great. I hope all these people get completely fucked over. But I'm trying to see, does it say in the article where the levels are? No, that's just the amount of positions. That's how many. This chart here is how many shorts there are. They're talking about BlackRock and funds down 5% the week despite the pullback. It's well above the 50 SMA, which is your best friend. I like EMA over SMA, but that's just me. The 14-day RSI of 66.6. It's suggesting it's nearing overbought territory, but I don't know about all that. And then also Ethereum ETF smash records as crypto products see 3.75 billion in inflow. So there's two sides of the Ethereum story today. Side number one is institutions are buying Ethereum. Billions of dollars are inflowing in the crypto, mostly from ETFs. And the other side of it is that there are a lot of shorts preparing for Ethereum. Hopefully they get squeezed. Hopefully they get liquidated. But like I said, there are a lot of bullish divergences on altcoins. There are a lot of bearish divergences on altcoins, and there is a bullish divergence on Bitcoin dominance. So maybe the second half of August, I don't know. You know what I mean? Obviously, we always just set alarms and react to the alarms. And the alarms control what I do. But you have to be able to see both sides of the story and then also be able to react. I mean, even if we go to Ethereum here and just look at a basic relative strength index, a basic RSI, I mean, it's kind of, oh, I have my brush on. That's annoying. I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore that it is pretty hot. Ethereum went all the way up to 87, and where 70 is overbought, and since then has kind of claimed down a little bit. So there is a little bit. And guys, I want you to understand that patterns matter on MACD, patterns matter on RSI, like head and shoulders or pennants. It matters on these just like it matters on price action. So what I would say is I would draw that uptrend there, and then I would draw this downtrend here and kind of see what happens to the pennant here on the daily. That's how I would approach this. And it is a little bit more prominent here on the daily on Market Cipher, where you see anchor wave, trigger wave pushing down as this anchor wave was on here, and the price obviously has come up to here. So we have, again, bearish divergence on the daily chart for Ethereum. We did see a nice run up in the beginning of August. We do have bearish divergences now. So we do have to be aware of our surroundings and be aware of the alarms. And the alarms are what tell the story for me. So right here, I can kind of walk you guys through what happened here. So this little rectangle that we have right there, anytime I can find a range like this right here, where Ethereum traded for 3 days and 10 hours inside of a 5.8, basically a 6% range for 3 days. Anytime that happens, the longer it ranges sideways, the better it is for you, because you can identify this little rectangle and prepare yourself and say, okay, if we lose this, we're shorting. If we go above this range, we're longing. And that's exactly what happened here. That's exactly what happened here. And of course, what happened? We broke this range that we identified. Ethereum went up about 10% over the next day in 16 hours. And what has happened since then? We kind of we set these support resistance levels. Let me extend them over. And the same levels that we used to go long are the same alarms that would have went off on the way down the hill. And even bouncing off of this same, so this 4364, which was the long level for the top of our rectangle. Guess what? Ethereum is back inside of the previous rectangle now. So this same level, 4364, we bounce and go up. Yeah, you can make an argument to long that. The flip side of this is we also have this downtrend that we're forming right here. So obviously alarm that trend and then have all these alarms for breakout confirmation in the event that happens. 4364, 4525, 4624, and then 4784 as well. All those alarms are really good targets for Ethereum in the event it turns around. The problem here is that Ethereum completely ripped. It completely ripped. And if you even just kind of look at it from the perspective of just from like this local uptrend here, okay, we are very close to breaking down from this uptrend that started back here from this low. But now this is where we can get a little nifty. This is where there's a learning moment here, because if you actually draw this trend line further back, all the way from the bottom, like this, that if we lose this uptrend, our target becomes this one. That is called a bump and run. Not saying this is going to happen, but this happens all the time, because this uptrend's only from right here, where our longer uptrend is from all the way back there on the left. So, you know, certainly something to consider. In terms of scalp levels for Ethereum, I know this is a very messy chart, but it makes sense if you follow along while watching the screen. Honestly, I would keep this simple. I would just set local low at 4224. I'll type that for you. 4,224. Yeah, that would be my short alarm. And then I would actually adjust this alarm to this little local high here. So this rectangle, we can kind of do away with that for the most part. I'll leave the rectangle though, but the local high is more important, although it's a few dollars above this high back here. You see how it's a little bit below that? So I would actually adjust to I would adjust my scalp levels to the local high and the local low. So the local high is actually 4389. So let's fix this. 4389. Okay. And a short level would be 4224. But remember, let me change the color of our little pennant we have forming here into blue, because we have the long-term uptrend facing the short-term downtrend. And this point of intersection right here is the 20th. So in 2 days, Ethereum either has to break up from this local downtrend or break down from this longer term uptrend. Here's the thing. If it breaks up, that's good. That's good, because then we have continuous bullish momentum. We're going up and to the right. Amazing. But you have to consider how long. You see how many days this downtrend's been forming? This downtrend's been forming for 5 days and 48 minutes. This uptrend has been forming for 16 days and 4 hours. This, you know, so anytime, if the trend line that breaks, so right now we have a pennant, we're in a pennant where there's a downtrend versus an uptrend. Anytime the trend line that's been around longer breaks, more times than not, whatever trend line's been around for the smaller amount of time, in this case, the downtrend, generally that's the one that breaks. But in the event the trend line that's been around for longer, this uptrend, if that breaks, it's a more significant trade. So whatever trend line's been around longer, if that's the one that ends up breaking, and 4224 is our confirmation short alarm, that's a bigger deal. That's a bigger trade. It's a more volatile move. Keep that in mind. All right, guys, we are getting there. We've been cooking here for an hour. We have been cooking here for an hour. Is VET still in accumulation? We can quickly look at the VeChain chart. Also, I do want to say, CryptoFace told me to look at BNB. Look at what BNB did from when we talked about it last week. You know, kind of had this nice little move up here. BNB is once again stuck in this little baby range right here. I would actually adjust this to the more local high, because it did put in a slightly higher high. I'd adjust that right there. So I would say long alarm for BNB, 867.8, 867.8, and short alarm for BNB right here, 820. It's actually so funny. I was moving some money around, and in my MetaMask, I like clicked on all the wallets, and apparently I have $2,000 in BNB just sitting in the BNB. I was like, where did you come from? And I actually remembered it was from a thing like 3 years ago, but I totally forgot that it was there. But hey, nice free $2,000. That's what it felt. So, you know, when you find money in your pocket or in the dryer, that's what it felt like. It felt like that, but for $2,000 on MetaMask. But yeah, so these two, that would be right now 867 long, 820 short. That is my conditional range for BNB. VeChain, 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 VeChain. Let me find a chart that I haven't drawn a bunch of stuff on. I'm just going to go from the daily chart right now because we got to run through this pretty quick. This chart hasn't gone back far enough. Okay, that I can deal with. So VeChain's in a pretty interesting spot right now. Obviously, we had our big run up from before, okay? And we can argue that, you know, basically right here, this is a rough draw, by the way. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So I would say any VeChain under 3 cents, that's accumulation. Anytime you've been able to buy VeChain under 3 cents, this alarm's actually 299, 298, whatever. This is all accumulation zone. And argue me that, because from here, you know, it popped 25% right here, 83% right here, 174% from that level, from the 3 cent level, not from the bottom, but just from that blue line. So that's the level you want to buy under. Also, like we always say, what do rounded bottoms do? Rounded bottoms pay the bills. They pay the bills. And we've already put in 1 higher low, 2 higher lows, etc. So there's that aspect. We also want to draw this uptrend and hope that this local uptrend here does not break. We also have to be conscious of the fact that if we go from this pennant right here, VeChain will have to break one way or the other by October 3rd. And is it going to swiggle into the middle of the pennant? Probably not. But by October 3rd, VeChain will be forced to break local uptrend versus breaking local downtrend. So that is certainly what you should be paying attention to. It is coming down on the daily. On the daily doesn't look the best, but the 2 hour kind of looks like the damage is over because it already kind of fell down and is now reversing. It like had its push, a little baby pop, little push back down, and now it's turning around and hooking with a green dot on the 2 hour. So the 2 hour doesn't look bad. But what I would say, I would kind of look at this range that we're in like this. Let me change the color to like yellow or something, because 1 second. I would look at it like that, because in the past 39 days, yes, there have been moments where it came up here or momentarily broke down here or like kissed the alarm right here. But for the most part, in the past 39 days, VeChain has really spent most of the time inside of this basically 14% range right here, where this top alarm is 0.26. I will write that for you, 0.026. And the lower alarm right here is 0.23. So what this all doesn't matter. So, but really, so these levels here, like right here, right here, that becomes a target if 0.26 breaks up. That's our target. And then this level right here at 218 from this low, that becomes our target if we go short. But you have to be aware that we're also inside of the pennant, where this would be breakout confirmation and this could become breakdown confirmation. So just be aware, although we have tightened the range, the break of that range is not a breakout confirmation until this point. So if it happens sooner, you have to reach out of the chart to find your breakout confirmation. But that is the bulk range, 0.26, 0.23, where one's a long, one's a short. But ultimately, we're still early for alt season, and any VeChain you can buy under 3 cents is a win. I hope that helped answer your question. All right, man. I think we're getting near that time, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are getting near that time where somebody in my audience wins a Tesla. Wins a damn Tesla. But first, we need to talk about some other giveaways that I did. Right here, there is a heated face-off. Let's watch the video. Heated face-off. between Khamzat Chimaev and DDP. And DDP acted tough and played the heel pretty well, but let's be honest, he got obliterated. And Khamzat destroyed him for 5 rounds, and I made a bunch of money because I was right about that. Thank you. But I did say, who's going to win this historical fight tomorrow? Tell me your pick in the comments. And someone who picks correctly is going to win $500 in VeChain. I normally use XPicker for these types of things, but I don't know. I mean, can I pick from the comments? Like, retweet, quote, but I don't know how to pick from the comments. This is what I'm gonna do. Somebody in the chat, give me a number. Somebody in the chat, give me a number. The first number I see is the number I'm going with. 67. Give me a smaller number. That number is too big. 7. All right. Jackson Crawford said 7. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to count down the comments 7. And if the 7th number is says votes Khamzat, I'm going to keep going down until I see Khamzat. All right. So if number 7 down from the top is Khamzat, that person wins. If it's DDP, the next person below is the winner. That's the only way I can think to do it. And I got a random number from my chat. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Charlie J said DDP. NFT Keith said DDP. Hunger says DD. So the next one that says Khamzat's the winner. Here we go. Jamie's NFT right there. Khamzat. He is $500 winner. I got a random number from the chat. That's how it works. Jamie's NFT wins $500. Congratulations to him. Let me get a screenshot of this, send it over to the team, and they will send this gentleman $500. Also, I did a giveaway from when I did my thing with Mark Vandenberger. There were 6 questions that we chose from the audience, and every one that was chosen gets $50. Those have not been paid out yet, but we are going to pay those off probably tomorrow or the next day. So those people, you know who you are. You have not been paid yet. You will get paid. Damn, I do a lot of giveaways. It's hard to keep track sometimes. All right, so we got Jamie's here. Congratulations to Jamie. We also did this tweet. If Khamzat Chimaev wins the middleweight UFC title, someone who likes this post will win $300 in crypto. If he wins by knockout, 2 people win. He did not win by knockout, and this was one of my bets that I put in from Khamzat Chimaev. This was not the whole bet. This was one of the bets that I put in. And sometimes, to be honest with you guys, when I bet on Polymarket, I very rarely put the full amount I'm actually doing on Twitter, because I don't, one, if I do, you know, it's not out of the ordinary for me to bet $60,000, $70,000 at any given time. And one, if I win, people get weird, and if I lose, people get mean. So publicly, I generally only show like $5,000 to $10,000, and I have multiple accounts too. So I have a balance in this account and a balance in that account because I have different devices. So, you know, it's one of those things that you know, hold on. AJ, when you say that someone that likes, why go into the comment section to pick a winner? No, you got that one wrong, because I said for that last one, buddy, what I said was right here. Tell me your pick in the comments. Someone who picks correctly is going to win $500. So that one was, if whatever you commented, if you picked the correct fighter in the comments, someone random would win. That's how that one worked. That was not from the likes. I want to be very clear about that. I do too many giveaways for things to get weird, dude. All right. So here is the one for, so this one's by the likes. This one I can do. Copy. There was 904 likes. A lot of people there. Go over here to XPicker. Let me paste this tweet in here. paste from like. You must follow Ajwritescrypto. Minimum tweet count. You have to have more than 50 tweets. You have to tweet at least once a month. Your account has to be older than 1 month, and you have to have at least 50 followers. If you don't have 50 followers, get 50 followers. All right, that's not. But this is how I prevent bots. You know what I mean? It's not fair to do 0 and have a bot win. So it has to be a real account, and that's why I use these interactions. Most people, if you've been around for a while, you've tweeted more than 50 times, you've tweeted at least once a month, you're not here for just a month, and you have more than 50 followers. That's just common. Use Twitter a little bit more, and you will be in the running. It's not because I want to do people dirty. It's because I don't want bots to win my giveaways, and it's just a fair way to do it. I'm sorry. All right, pick a winner. Pick a winner. Rose Ja. Is she a bot? Let's see. If she's a bot, it ain't happening. She retweets a lot. Her whole thing is retweets. Oh no, 7 hours ago. Okay, no, she's real. She wins. Shout out to Rose. I'm going to screenshot this. She gets $300. Congratulations. Bang, bang, bang. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Magic City, no, you do not need 50 followers for the Tesla giveaway. It's different. All right. So let's be very clear. For the Twitter giveaways, like the one I just did, I use XPicker to do it. The Tesla giveaway is on Sweep Widget, and Sweep Widget does it randomly by entries. So if you have an entry, you have just as good a chance as anyone else. That has nothing to do with your Twitter. If you if you followed the VeChain account or download the BYB app, that gives you an entry. And every entry you have gets you in. So that's how it works. Everybody has a chance with Sweep Widget. So let me head over to the Sweep Widget thingamajig here. Giveaway, pick winners. Okay. I think that's okay. Okay, here's the list. Sorry, so there's 26 winners overall. There's 26 winners overall. Dude, I'm nervous. I hope it's people in the chat, because the last guy that won was from Nigeria, and it was like, I don't know. I know he said that like it was a really big deal, but like it freaked me out that I don't want like fake people to win these giveaways. You know what I mean? Like I don't want fake people to win. But so I have the list here in front of me. There are 15 people win $100 in VeChain. 15 people win $100 in VeChain. 10 people win VeChain merch packs, and 1 person wins a brand new Tesla Model 3. All right, so here is the list. Let's do this. Kind of scroll in a little bit here. Oh, not like that. How do I press? Hold on. Scroll. Why isn't it zooming in? There we go. Okay, so $100 in VeCrypto. All right, so this is the $100 in crypto. Michael Rowan, Soon Panna from India, Willie McAllister from United Kingdom, Antonio Ramirez from the United States, Jesus Guzman from the United States, Tracy Paxton, Scotty Clark. Hey, I know Scotty Clark. That's cool. Scotty Clark won $100. Good for him. Jason Melander, Adam Navarez from Austria. Very cool. Thomas Delfino, Ozel Guzman, Pedro Robels, United States, Gianluca Vinci from Italy, Gabriel Fonseca, Terry Joe Mills, and those people are all the winners that won $100 in VeChain. Okay, so VeChain merch packs. Phil Aurora Ball. This is crazy. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. How do we put our name on the list? Well, the giveaway was active for well over a month. It was pinned to the top of my Twitter. I talked about it in every video I posted. And there are 2 more giveaways this year. Let's be very clear before we keep going here. If you missed this giveaway, welcome to the channel, first of all. I do giveaways all the time. I probably do more giveaways than most people on crypto Twitter. Ask the groggers if you don't believe me. Every time I win a bet on Polymarket, someone wins like $250, like every time, or 300 or 100. I do it. I switch it up. But I've been doing this for a while. And I partnered with VeChain, partnered with Sonny Liu to do these giveaways. So if you don't win this time, don't be bummed out, because there are 2 more Tesla giveaways this year. There's a Model 3 giveaway we're doing in September and October. And at the end of the year, someone's going to win a Cybertruck. Okay? So don't be bummed if you didn't get in this one. And don't be bummed if you don't win this one, because there are 2 more chances this year. And if you follow me on Twitter and you have notifications set on when I tweet, get in on those, because I do weekly giveaways from my Polymarket bets. Weekly giveaways from Polymarket bets. And guys, don't get upset if you don't win. Thousands and thousands. And there was over 16,000 entries in this giveaway. Okay? People from like all over the world are trying to win. So don't get upset or say it's blah. You know what I mean? Like it's a giveaway. It's random. It's like a scratch off. It is what it is. I just want to help my audience, and a lot of people sign up. You know what I mean? So let's just keep it grateful, keep it humble. I'm just grateful I can even do this for people. I never thought in a million years I'd be able to say, oh, I gave away 3 Tesla Model 3s and a Cybertruck last year. That's what I'm going to get to say next year. And that's amazing. That's amazing. It's a beautiful thing. And I really hope it changes the lives for the people who win, because you guys are awesome. I love my community. You guys are the best. Really quick, let's do a like check here. Let's do a like check. 131 likes. Let's get it up to 150. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. How many people are watching? 165 on YouTube. More than that on X. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Now let's get back down to business. We already talked about the 15 people who won $100 in VeChain. If you won, don't freak out and DM me, because this is what happens. When you do a giveaway and you say someone wins, what people do is they'll make a fake account of that person, message me and say, hey, I won. Where's my money? No, that's not how this works, motherfucker. Okay. What we do is Sweep Widget gives us your email address. I will email you, or my team will email you directly, tell you that you won. We'll give you 5 days to respond. If you don't respond, we'll give it to someone else, and I'll do that publicly. And that's how we do it. Don't come to us. We will come to you. If you signed up on Sweep Widget, I have your email address. All right. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And I've never been fooled. Not even once. Not even one time has someone pulled that wool over my eyes. Never. All right. So, all right, here we go. Here we go. This is big. I'm excited right now. So Terry Joe Mills was the last $100 winner. Now on to 10 merch packs. We have Phil Rohraball, Matthew Digman, Mark Schlabach, Mark I'm having too much fun pronouncing this guy's name. Mark Schlabach, Chris Joyce, Paul Marie Crass Hatton. He has 4 names. Shout out to, and he's from Dubai. Wow. That's going to be expensive to mail that merch pack. I wonder how much that merch pack's going to cost to fucking mail out. That sucks. Thanks a lot, Paul Marie Crass Hatton, you 4-name having motherfucker. Okay, I'm done. I love you, Paul Marie Crass Hatton. I do love you. David Hirsch, an American. Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming out. Ashley Boylstein wins the merch pack. Trill. Homie's name is just, oh, you guys can't, I can't scroll up anymore. I can't scroll up anymore. You guys can't see it. I'm going to have to move my name for the last three. I'm going to have to move my head out of the way for the last three because I can see the Tesla winner, but you guys can't because my banner's in the way and my head's in the way. So I will move myself out. But so for the merch, Trill, his name is Trill. That's all it says. And then merch, Sarah Swetlicki from America. Last merch winner, Roosevelt Bernard. Roosevelt first name. So he has two last names, Roosevelt Bernard. What about Bernard Roosevelt? I think that would be better, but I'm not your parents. And then finally, the grand prize winner, I'm literally going to have to move my face and take my banner out of the way, is right here. Andrew Alexander. That is the winner. Andrew Alexander just won a brand new Tesla Model 3. There we go. That's it. Shout out to Andrew. Congratulations, American. Maybe he'll take the car. The last person took the money. I don't blame him. But you never know. He might want the car, maybe not, AJ, did you take away the task for downloading the BYB app? No, I did not take away the task, but I didn't make it mandatory because it wasn't available on the Google Play Store. It was only available on iOS, and I made every step mandatory, but then some people couldn't get their entries in because they were on Androids, and I had to take that step and make it not mandatory. So you can do it, but it wasn't mandatory. Because it wasn't on the Google Play Store. That's why that happened. So there you go. Shout out to everybody. Gnarly Sheen took $100. Love to see that. Congratulations, Andrew. Congrats, GG's. Now back. VeChain for Lambo. Very cool. But guys, that's it. We just, dude, it's so cool, man. Life is crazy. Congratulations to Andrew. Love to see that. Definitely going to get the emails all together, send everybody their emails, make sure everybody gets their stuff. Hopefully some groggers out there want stuff. Hey, Javi Time says, watching from Orcas Island. I'm on Orcas Island. What the hell are you doing, sir? But yeah, what a great giveaway, said Jason Owen in the chat. Guys, we do this. Listen, if you didn't win this one, don't be bummed. I do weekly Polymarket giveaways. I have 2 more VeChain Tesla giveaways this year. One of them is a Cybertruck. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. I love this. I love what I do. Jackson, thank you for saying that in the chat. I do appreciate you. Guys, I'm just grateful. I'm humble, and I can't believe I get to do this for a living. I can't believe the success I've had. I mean, I'm beside myself, but it started with almost nothing. I struggled to pay my rent. I struggled to get by. None of this process was easy. It's still not easy. And I just want you to know that if you're out there and your back's against the wall, if you're out there and your back's against the wall, keep fighting. Don't give up on yourself. Don't be in a lack mentality. Right there in the chat, Crypto ITO says, I never win. Don't say that, man. Don't say that, because you're manifesting reality. If you say things like I always lose or I never win, like those are powerful words to say out loud. The words you say creates reality. Like you need to think like maybe I'll win next time, or next time things will be different. Don't ever say those words. Jada always says to me, consciousness and energy creates reality. All right. So if I lost a poker game and I say, oh, this always happens, well, I would keep manifesting that happening to me because I'm saying it out loud. So choose your words and understand that like words are super powerful and meaning is super powerful. So if your mindset shifts to, hey, next time's going to be different, or, you know, I'm going to work harder and change my outcome. Like, create your own luck. Create your own luck. People try to tell me, oh, you're lucky, you had everything handed to you, blah, 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 blah. They don't know shit. I, next to nothing, a couple of years ago, barely paying rent, was not easy at all. I fought back and I focused on crypto, and I studied for 6 hours a day, and I focused on technical analysis, and I fought back, dude. I fought back, and I didn't take no for an answer. And I like kind of grew up playing poker. I started playing cash games with my grandma when I was 14 at the kitchen table, and I got used to the swings in life. I'm up $100. I'm down $300. I'm up $500. I'm down $1,000. And the swings just kept getting bigger for me. They kept getting bigger. So now if I lose $60,000, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And if I make $60,000, I'm like, yeah, whatever, because it's whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I've gotten my mind to a place where I'm okay with those types of swings. And you have to mentally be in a very strong place to be able to stomach that. Because, like, what I'm saying is that if you go up to bat 100 times, you will hit a home run eventually. And for most of you out there that are trying to get to that next level in crypto or life or whatever, you got to just keep going up to bat. And I don't care if you keep striking out. Don't go to the dugout with your head down, and go up to bat next time like things are going to be different, and have a different mindset and focus on living in a higher matrix. Don't focus on partying. Don't focus on chasing girls or cheating on whoever or being a piece of shit. Focus on the right things. The people that make the sober decisions, the correct decisions, that's the type of stuff that creates reality. That where people do the right thing. Do the right thing. Make the next best decision. When you live like that, you live sober, and you make good decisions, your luck will change. Your luck will change, but you have to fight back. You can't expect things to just be handed to you. You can't expect like just that thing, fight back, man. That's really what I can say. That type of positivity is what got me to where I am. And, there was a point my positivity was literally delusional, because it was. It was like, my dad was like, dude, you need to get like a real job. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to be a full-time crypto guy. I want to be a crypto trader. And my dad was like, yeah, you need to have money to trade crypto. And I was like, I don't need money. I'll get there. I'll find a way. I'll figure it out. I was delusional. I was freaking delusional, but I did it. I made it work. I kept waking up every day and focusing on crypto, and meet new people who are also doing the same thing. And like, you slowly just work your way up, but you have to do it every single day. You can't just like pick up a hobby for 5 minutes and put it down and expect to like, you know what I mean? If you want to go skateboarding at the X Games, you can't just read about skateboarding. You need to go put your feet on the grip tape at the skate park and go skate. Like, you have to put in your hours. And I think that's the thing with crypto, is that people think of like these one-off stories where someone buys $100 of something and becomes a millionaire. Like, that's the exception, not the rule. And the rule is that there is no life hack. There is no cheat way. There is no fake way to do this. You got to fight back. That's what I got. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, man. You guys, this audience, you people, everyone here, you mean the world to me. This is my only live stream this week. Tomorrow, I'm going to Maryland. I'm going to go see my family. I will certainly have some videos, content for you guys, Telegram group posts, stuff like that. Guys, if you want to sign up for the Telegram group, ajalphagroup@gmail.com. I'd like to thank all my sponsors. Thank you to VeChain. Thank you to Sonny Lou. You're the man, Sonny. This giveaway thing has been awesome. We had over 16,000 signups for this giveaway. Like, that's insane. 16,000 people. Like, what the hell? I love that. Maybe next time we'll get even more. You know what I mean? We're just going to keep trying hard. And, shout out to VeChain, man. Shout out to Bitunix, best exchange in crypto, no VPN, no KYC, insane volume for all the altcoins. I love trading there. Shout out to Algorand, shout out to Suede AI. They're revolutionizing the music industry with AI and crypto. Going to have Jonathan on for a third interview here soon. Dude, shout out to Decrypted Tax, Ernest, Encyclopedia of the Human. If you haven't done your taxes yet, get a free consultation with him. He's the man. Shout out to Crypto Face and Market Cypher and everybody. Shout out to Polymarket. Sign up for Polymarket right now. You need a VPN right now, but you won't need a VPN in a couple months. So you might as well get your account going now. Learn how to do it. I couldn't be more grateful. You guys are awesome. This is my only stream this week, so I'm kind of droning on. But shout out to all the winners, man. Shout out to Andrew, whoever that is, for winning a Tesla. Man, I love to see it. I'll keep you guys up to date. I'll keep you informed. One day at a time. I know that the people who care the most, the people who focus on crypto and ignore the distractions, those are the people who are going to make a difference. And those are the people who are going to become the next wave of crypto millionaires. And there was a point in time where I never thought that could happen to me. Oh, I never win. I'm the worst. I'm always unlucky, blah, blah, blah. I made every excuse under the sun. And the only way to get out of that place is to face what I've avoided my whole life. And that was to get up and stick my chest out and fight back. And anything can happen. Anything is possible. Believe in yourself. Yeah, that's it. Get rich or get wrecked. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Peace out.